a note on their paper again, on their desk. Everyone knew what honor was. George Washington didn't have to reprimand anyone. He sat quietly and listened. And what they did is they took the Articles of Confederation and they said, this doesn't work because it's too close to meat mints. So, moved him here. Reach out, anarchy. Here. Move freedom just far enough away from anarchy. But you'll notice the difference here. Much closer to anarchy than to total government. And here's what's happened since. This is where freedom was placed. But over the years, we started drifting this way. And then around the turn of the century, we came all the way over here. With Theodore Roosevelt actually said, when I heard John McCain say he likes Theodore Roosevelt, I thought, dear God, are we in trouble? Theodore Roosevelt said, we grudge no man of fortune in civil life if it is honorably obtained and well used. We should permit a fortune to be gained only so long as the gaining represents a benefit to the community. That's a Republican. Teddy Roosevelt, translation, it's okay to earn money as long as you earn it the way we say it should be earned and spend it the way we say it should be spent. That is not where liberty is. That, the Republicans and the Democrats moved us here. It was Theodore Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson. I hate that guy. I think I need therapy. Woodrow Wilson had 150,000 political prisoners. If you spoke out against World War I, you could go to jail. If you questioned our government, you could go to jail. By the way, Woodrow Wilson not only jailing people for speaking their mind, but also the man who gave us the Fed, also the man who gave us the income tax. Woodrow Wilson changed everything. He put us here. And the progressive idea was, we'll just have a bunch of administrators. We'll just have a bunch of departments. And the departments will answer to the president. And I know that doesn't sound exactly like the Constitution, but it's okay. We'll just have a bunch of departments. Franklin Roosevelt loved the idea so much, and no matter what a progressive will tell you today, they loved Mussolini. I've read the articles from the New York Times in the day. I've read Time magazine from the day, praising Mussolini and the new concept of government. This is the way government of the future will be. Mussolini has it. In fact, Franklin Roosevelt loved it so much, he appointed dictators. The dictator of lumber, the dictator of the automobile industry. You may know now, in the 1970s, a Republican brought this practice back, but he didn't call them dictators. He called them czars. Czars that answer to no one but the president. Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson, progressives, here. Then we did this and this. Ronald Reagan brought us back about here. And then we drifted. And here's what's been happening. We'll vote for a Republican because he'll take us this way. And then a Democrat. And then a Republican. They're doing a dance right here. That's all they're doing. They're giving us the same slice of pie. It doesn't matter. They're not talking about reducing the size of control. We argue because if you're a Republican, you think this government, my gosh, they'll strip us of every right. But if you're a Democrat, you thought the last one was going to strip us of every right. We're We're not arguing about should they be allowed to strip us of rights. We're arguing which side should be allowed to strip us of rights. Stop the argument. Remember where freedom is. Freedom is not over here. We are moving closer and closer and closer. It's a pendulum. And it swings back and forth. Back and forth. Republicans, Democrats. But at some point, that pendulum in an emergency, which Woodrow Wilson also taught us about, in times of an emergency, the king will stop the pendulum from swinging. It just depends who we've elected king. And when the emergency comes, freedom needs to be as close to anarchy as possible. Look at this. Everyone would tell you we shouldn't be over near this guy. Everyone would tell you we shouldn't be with him. He should be there. And the other thing is, this demonstrates is, look at this. Freedom ain't ever going to be running to us. We got to do the hard work and walk over to freedom ourselves and then never let her go. Texas are going to play an important role. But there are a couple of ways to go here. I agree with Martin Luther King and three misses. I decided on vacation. The last vacation I took, I wrote Common Sense, the book that's out now. And I didn't think that I was going to publish it. I just felt like I had to write it, and I was afraid for a myriad of reasons. I softened the language as much as I could because I want to make sure that the message is understood. Violence is not the answer. But the biggest question that I'm asked all the time is, so then what? No one's listening. I decided this week on vacation that I'm going to go back home and beg a few people who are experts in their fields to advise me into the right, anonymously if they have to, a plan. Because see, we don't do this. We let the system work. We vote. But through things like Acorn and corruption on both sides of the aisle,